Good morning, I'm Kris.
And I'm Jeannine, and welcome to the Blue Fiber Tree.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, so August 25th.
I'm tired. I know.
Yeah.
We are knee deep into the beginning of, like, school started, football's going, starting to get a little cooler at night, thank God.
And Labor Day is just right around the corner. Yep.
I'm working on Labor Day.
You're working on Labor Day.
I am.
I'm not. It's my last day to put my feet up for a really long time.
You're smart. Yeah, no, you're smart.
And we will get there. We will talk about that.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to jump in. So the first thing that we have is on Wednesday the 28th. So those of you who started your Beehive a couple weeks ago.
Better get your butt back here and finish them.
Yeah, second session to finish. So that's that Wednesday from 5 to 8. We're going to finish these really fun, cool design that Regina did. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So if you started yours on the, what date was that? The 14th, you need to come back and finish on the 28th. Okay? There you go. So there's that. That's that reminder. On the 30th is beginner spinning.
That's me.
That's her.
Okay, so my beginner spinners. First thing you're going to need is when you come in, you're going to pick out your little braid of wool. We got some options for wool. By the time that comes around, we may have some other options in here too.
Okay.
But we've got 3 or 4 different things back there. We do have some new stuff we're bringing in as well.
This is one of them.
This is one of them. This is Targhee, and we love it. It's bouncy. It's lofty. Whatever, bouncy, lofty.
There's a lot of loft.
It can be smooth, you know, spinning a finer yarn, but it can also be spun and made with art yarn. Like
nice.
It's a very versatile yarn. We love it because we source it right here in the United States.
Yes.
So that makes me happy. So you'll pick out a braid, and then I am going to teach you how to make, I'm not going to undo this, how to make lovely yarn. We're going to do a nice 2-ply yarn over the course of the 2 sessions. So the first day, we're really going to work on learning how to be coordinated with our hands and our feet, getting control of our wheel, learning a little bit of the difference between worsted and woolen, and what that means for you as a spinner. I will talk about my 2 favorite books for spinning. One of them, this for me is the Bible for Spinners. This is the Spinner's Book of Yarn Designs by Sarah Anderson. It is legit the best beginner's book, and it will carry you through being an expert spinner.
Yep.
Has in the back of it 64 different cards of technique. So if you're reading about it here, it has it here. And it's great because it really is, it reinforces what I teach in the class for beginners, but it will help you move along into other things.
Right.
So, and this book takes you through carding and fiber prep and things like that as well. And we'll talk a little bit about that in class, but not a ton. So it is in this book, and Jeannine does have them in the store.
Yep.
The other book is by Jillian Moreno. It is called Yarnitecture. I love this woman. I took a class at the John C. Campbell School in North Carolina with Jillian Moreno. And I took it because, A, she was teaching, and I think she's brilliant. But I took it so that I could come back and be a better teacher.
Yeah.
Not to bring her teaching techniques back, but so that I would be able to have a better understanding and find better words and maybe a different way of teaching that would help people.
Yeah. And
she blew my mind. She blew my mind. I get so emotional because it really changed my life as a spinner. But I now can help you understand why you spin the way you spin and why you shouldn't spin something some way for projects. A lot of people who come in for beginner spin, you're not spinning like me. I spin for art yarn, for wall hangings and tapestry and big tri-loom projects. That's why I spin. Most people come in to spin so that they can learn to spin to make a sweater, to spin to make a pair of socks.
Yep.
They're spinning for everyday use. And up until I took this class, I probably fell a little short of the goal in helping people understand how to spin for that everyday use.
Right.
So I highly recommend this book as just a supplement to your library. I read the book, but now I understand the book.
Right.
And
you went through the workshop with her.
yes, it life altering. So I do hope if you're in the area, you'll come join me for a beginner spin one of these days. I think I'm going to be a better teacher now. Not that I was horrible before, but I really feel like I will be even a just better teacher now.
You understand more of the technical side of it.
I do.
And
I'm still not counting whirls. We're still not counting steps. I'm like, I'm not that technical. But now I understand how to explain things to you in a better way.
Right.
So please come join us. It is a 2-session class. We will be doing the other class in September.
September 13th.
There you go. I'll give you time to come in and do your homework and really practice what we teach on that first night. And then the second session we ply and we learn how to set our yarns.
Yeah, you go over what you did in between and then you do plying and how to set it. Now, I will tell you, if you don't have a spinning wheel, do not run out and buy one.
Oh, yeah.
You get to use one of ours. If you have one,
bring it.
Please,
I'd love to teach you how to spin on your own wheel.
Yes, and every
It'll help you so much.
And it doesn't have to be an Ashford wheel. It can be any brand that you have. We will do our best to help you learn how to use that wheel.
Yeah, it's rare that somebody brings in a wheel. I don't think somebody's brought in a wheel that we're like, oh, I can't figure this one out. I had trouble with one time, but you were able to come over, and I'm like, dude, I've never seen a wheel like this. I don't know what this is. Get over here. And I went,
flip. Now do it.
Now do it. I was like, oh.
They had the bands crossed.
It just didn't occur to me to look at that, but okay, learn something new every day.
I'm the mechanical person.
I am not. I am not.
So if you have a wheel and you're not sure if it's in working order and you want to take the workshop, call me. I'll have you bring the wheel in so I can look at it first to make sure that it is in working order. And if it's not, then we'll get the parts in that you need so that it is a workable wheel so you can take the workshop.
Perfect.
So absolutely. Yeah.
Now what's up after beginner spin?
Rigid Heddle Basics.
Love that class.
Awesome class.
It's what got me hooked on weaving.
Our backbone of everything that we do here in the store. So this is the Ashford 10-inch samplet loom, and we teach on this one. It is their smallest loom that they have available, and we know we can get a project done in 6 hours, mostly, as long as you're not talking a million and
mostly
not
come
working
out at night. I'm sorry. Sorry, it's my husband's fault. It has to be said.
This is one that I did using some commercial acrylic yarns, and one was the lime brand. Homespun is what I used to go back and forth. Now, homespun is perfect for weaving because I don't know about you guys, but I can't knit or crochet with it, but I can weave with it, and it is super soft, and it adds this great texture. And this project here, Ashford has their own Rigid Heddle book, Basics, and this is actually one of the projects that's in there. They kind of walk you through from beginning to end. This actually was a specific warp, planned warp, a planned weaving back and forth, the weft, with the 4 colors that we used. So it teaches you how to do even warp and weft, so it's a balanced weave. It teaches you how to do stranded color work. It teaches you how to weave in a specific way and how to carry your yarns up the side. It was a lot of fun. So
it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, this one, I really enjoyed this one. So they do have a lot of patterns in there. So they'll take you from the very beginning to the end of where you're using a double Heddle technique to make a blanket where when you're done, you open it up, it's twice the width. So
That's awesome.
from the very basics to more complicated.
Right.
There's patterns in that book that you can make material to cut out and sew into a cloak or a larger poncho or whatever.
Well,
it
and
has
I will
everything.
tell you, if you are a spinner or a soon-to-be spinner because you're taking my class, going from spinning to rigid heddle work is amazing because using hand-spun yarns, be them thinner or thicker or artsy, are amazing weft on a rigid heddle. It, like your weave going back and cross, back and forth, that's the weft. Just so you know, it took me a long time to remember warp ahead. Listen, that's the only way I can remember it, and it's the only way I still do.
Warp speed ahead.
Warp speed ahead. That's just how it happens. But your hand spun yarns make amazing wefts on a rigid heddle. So even while you're learning to spin, like you're gonna make some chunky, funky yarn when you first start. Oh, don't throw it away. Use it in a rigid heddle project. It'll be amazing, and you'll be like, oh, look how pretty this is. So.
Yeah, and then you fall in love with the project. Guess what?
She's got rigid heddles in every size.
All but 2.
Well, yeah. But and plan. Don't do what I did and buy that size and then 2 weeks later go, yeah, you can keep that to Tucson. I need a bigger one.
Yeah, so the most popular size is the 24-inch width because you can always go smaller in the reed. You can't go beyond the edges of the reed. It's just not going to happen. So, you know, and that 24 inch is the most versatile. There's $20 between a 16 and a 24.
May as well just
why not
get the 24.
And you can get the stand. It makes it easier to use.
I like my 28 knitters because I have my carry bag. That's all.
Right. And the knitters, I'm not going to knock them. They're a great loom, and I have the 20 and the 28.
They're a little different.
They're different, but if you want to do double heddle weaving, don't do it.
Don't do it on a knitter's loom. I'll tell you that right now.
You have to be able to get that second shed. Yeah.
It's hard.
I mean, I don't know how many times Alex was up and down off the floor, and so was Catherine trying to do theirs.
No, I would get a regular flat.
Yep.
Rigid heddle.
But it's so versatile, and the cost, you might as well just go ahead and get the 24. So yeah. So that brings us to the end of August.
Yay! Peace out, August.
Yes, and now we're going to start talking about Yarn Discovery Tour. Because believe it or not, passports go on sale Tuesday.
Yeah.
So the 27th, passports go on sale.
Okay.
So they are $10 at the 17 participating shops. We have 3 new shops this year.
That's awesome.
Yay! 2... Well, 1 is a brand new open. 2 were existing and decided to join the party. So there you go. Yeah.
Welcome aboard, guys.
This is this year's passport.
You're not going to misplace it. It's bright.
Absolutely not. It has all the usual things in there.
Yep.
Places to stamp.
Hours of the store that they're open during the yarn tour, plus their regular hours?
Yes, it has both. So it has the yarn tour hours are first. Regular hours are second. This is a great tool to have later after we're done so that you can go ahead and see stores in the area. It gives you that information that you need. And always check the websites because you just never know. Things happen. But there you go. September 3rd through the 22nd.
I saved my book from every year. I still have my book from every year.
Did you do it last year? I need to know what I used.
Oh, snap.
I can't remember if I used the stamp or the sticker, and I need to know which one I used. I'm thinking I used the stamp, but I can't remember for sure.
I'm pretty sure it was the stamp. I'll double check.
Yeah, so that I can use the other one this year.
Yep, I'll double check.
You are going to get a zippered pouch, a little bit bigger than the one that we did last year.
Okay.
It will have a commemorative logo zipper pull on it.
Yay!
So that's your freebie when you buy the passport. $10 for the passport. And like I said, you can get these a week before it starts. When the yarn tour starts, $10 minimum pre-tax. This is not changed. It's all still the same. $10 minimum in a store before tax. You get entered into that shop's prize basket. You get your choice of a free pattern. Okay? When you purchase the passport, you're entered into all those drawings from all the items that we get from our sponsors, all of our vendors. And they're very generous with us, so we are able to do a lot of giveaways at the end, which is awesome. So, and we go by the log sheet that the shop owners keep for each of the passport sales. So, there's that. And the cost of the passport does have tax in the state of Ohio. So, that is that.
1067.
Orange.
Just for those that are curious. Or 1068. Sorry, we got to round up.
All right, so if you go to the yarndiscoverytour.com website, there is a tab that says participating shops. When you click on that, there's a drop-down box for all 17 participating stores. So they've changed the website this year. Each shop has their own page. If you click on Longtail Knits, you're going to see the store with me. I think it's the picture of me standing there, and it might even have the outside signage as well. I think there's 2 pictures. If you scroll down, there's a bio on the store. If you go below that, you're going to see the projects that are offered for the knit and the crochet project.
Oh, the patterns for the yarn tour.
Patterns for the yarn tour. So not every... Go away. Go away. So Bob is showing pictures of me wearing this hat. And
stop it, Bob. Cameraman Bob, stop.
So
go back to your corner.
I don't look good in hats, but this here is my crochet project. Stop it. It's all half doubles. Yes, it's very floppy, but you can pin it with, you can put a brooch on it. You can put a button on it. There you go. See? Sailor's hat. Now, if you do this off to the side, it reminds me of the flapper hats. So, and then if you put a button or something on it or a flower, yeah, so those are really cool. So you can kind of do a whole lot of things.
Probably not. But
One skein of the Barocco Pima 100 cotton.
I would say it feels like cotton. I was waiting for you to say cotton. I love that feel.
And
it's very soft. Hook. It's awesome.
Really easy to follow the pattern. I had someone else test knit it.
It's way better than my floppy crochet hat I tried.
And believe it or not,
my derby hat.
Rhonda test knit it, and it still fit.
Oh, awesome.
So
she got a tiny head.
No, she crochets tight. This is why I had her try it.
Oh, I forgot about the... Okay, I forgot.
The tight crocheter.
Yep.
So yeah, so this is fun.
Awesome.
One size, but it does tell you to, go until you have so many inches, and then there you are. Then you can do it. So I thought it was really cool.
I like it. I like it a lot. That.
The knit pattern is Kris's pattern that she designed.
This is our...
You may want to take that off of there.
I'm gonna. This is our Cabochon summer shawlette. And it's a loose turtleneck. Okay. And it's very light. It's not... It will be enough to warm your shoulders on a summer,
Cooler
in the
evening in the fall.
And in the fall and the winter, it's great over other shirts. But the front comes down longer. The back is shorter. Here. So you can see. As
that
I just
really cool.
eat more fiber.
Eat more fiber? Hair? Whatever.
Eat more. It's hair. It's not fiber. But as you can see, it comes down to a decent... You get up here. It comes down to a decent amount. And it is shorter in back. Thank you for fixing my back.
Yep, because all this stuff slipped under.
And it's not a turtleneck in the traditional sense of turtleneck. So it's looser. You can see for people that don't like really tight things around their neck, I did it looser and it rolls down just so that it's nice and soft. It takes 2 skeins of our ESO yarn. And the bottom you can finish with... You can do no fringe if you want. If you do no fringe, please do like a picot edge or something because you're going to roll. It's the way the yarn is and the way the pattern is designed. You're going to roll unless there's some weight here. But with the bottom, you can see I did put some yarn pieces in it. So you could use, there's enough of your yarn left from your 2 skeins of yarn to fringe. You won't be able to fringe heavy fringe with it, but there'll be enough. Or you can add ribbons. You can add locks. There'll be some locks here at the store.
About an ounce of locks will do all the way around?
It should, yeah.
Because it's not every single one. It's just a spattering of.
Yeah, if you're going to mix locks in with something, yeah. I did use every single hole around, though, when I fringed.
Yeah, but not with the locks.
No. I placed locks here and there. I have ribbon in there. You can do small strips of fabric. You could, anything you want to fringe with, you can fringe. Or like I said, if you don't want to fringe, you could also take a solid yarn that's chunky and do a solid edging on it if you wanted to, in a cotton
coordinating or whatever.
Yeah, something that coordinates well with it. But to show you examples, this was all the same color.
Yep.
I'm trying to get a second one done before the yarn tour actually hits us that shows a 2-color change. But you can do something that is 2 different colors this way or 2 different colors this way. You can go completely out of the box, which I would twitch really badly, but you could do 2 different colors this way. Whatever, I would not. I would.
So this is going to give you that gradient. So if you start with this at the top, you just have subtle color changes, and then put the busy stuff at the bottom.
Yep.
And there's a lot of color combinations over there, and I'm sure I will have more by the time the yarn tour starts.
Oh, 100%. 100% more.
Yeah.
Whew.
It's warm, but
it's not actually. I'm not sweaty. My face is itchy from hair.
Right. This is a merino, nylon, and poly blend.
Yeah. Because it's plied. The poly is a stretchy black cord.
Right. This yarn is really cool.
It's very
Look at that.
Stretchy. I am in love with this yarn. The place that we get it from for wholesale, I probably am their best customer because I buy a ton of this.
Yeah.
I buy a ton of it. We sell a ton of it at the shows, and people are constantly like, what do I do with that? And for a while, I was showing the sample of Tony Jody's shawl that was a little bit bigger, a little bit longer than this. And somebody goes, you need to make a pattern. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then you're like,
I need a pattern.
I need a pattern for the yarn tour. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. So here we go. Took me a minute, but I do like it. I'm also working on a crochet version.
Okay.
Because I had somebody on the Wafa site go, is there a crochet version available? I went, no, but there will be.
Yeah.
And I forgot the crochet version takes more yarn.
These skein, so you're going to need 3 for the crochet version.
For the crochet version, I would need 3, yeah.
There's 110 yards on each one of these, and these are $20 a piece. This really is not that expensive for what it is.
No, it's really not. And
this
was all done. This pattern was done with a US 11 knitting needle. With this specific yarn, you don't really want to be smaller than that.
No, because it's going to get too tight.
This lays really nicely at the 11. Like, you can, if you want to make something beyond this, you can use a 13 with it and make it a little more open. You can go down to a 9 and make something a little tighter. I have had people use an 8 and a 7 with it, and they did really tight pot holders.
Oh, gotcha.
So, just depends on what you're looking to make.
Right.
But I'll really hang that up later.
Nice job.
Thanks. But so that'll be here for the yarn tour. And most likely the pattern will probably just stay at Jeannine's.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to have the pattern. I already had somebody from Kentucky after they saw the picture on the website or on the Facebook page. She put underneath the thing, she goes, if I don't happen to live in Ohio and I already have the yarn, how do I get the pattern?
Did you send it to her?
I did. I go, well, if you private message me your email, I'll gladly send you the pattern. Mm-hmm. You already have the yarn. And I will, eventually I'll put it up on Ravelry.
Yeah, somebody asked me too, and I said, well, you just need to contact me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like...
during the yarn tour, it's here when you get the yarn. After the yarn tour, you'll probably be able to find the pattern on Ravelry.
Right. Well, during the yarn tour, it's not so much you get it when you do it's one of the free patterns that you get a choice of.
Oh, right. I forget that it's one of the free patterns.
It's one of the free patterns.
But if you want to make it with my yarn's here in the store.
Yeah. And we'll showcase it very well.
Yes,
absolutely. So, and that begins the very hectic September that
Poor
I
Jeannine
lived
doesn't
through.
get to sleep.
And on top of that, we have a wedding during the yarn tour. Our oldest grandson's getting married.
Of course you do.
So,
right?
yeah. But it's the last Saturday of the tour, so it'll be okay. She can't be here because she has a show. So I'm teaching somebody else how to do it. Sorry. That's okay. We got it covered.
I think that's when I'm in Dallas.
Yes, that's your Dallas show.
Oh.
So we're good. But other than that, I think we got it all covered. So check the website on the homepage.
Yes.
Scroll down. You'll see all of the remaining August and all of September and October should be up there as well by now. And you can see everything that we have going on. You'll see we're very busy in here. We have a lot of things going on. And I will remind you, as I remind everybody all the time, if the dates for a specific workshop do not work for you, call me, email me, send me a text to the store. We will figure it out because you shouldn't have to wait another month to do it, especially if it's like Rigid Heddle. I do it once a month, but I always do it on a Saturday just because of how long the project is. But if you can't do a Saturday, we'll find another day. You just need a few hours to come in and get it going.
Listen, I've walked in on a Thursday and she's teaching that class on a Thursday morning. So
yep. I have days that I can do that. The only days I don't teach anything are on Monday and Tuesday because of all the open groups.
You've got too many people in here during your open groups.
Yeah. It's too loud. It's too distracting. I can't even think. My goodness, I'm in the middle of tearing a row out now because I made a mistake the other day. And I'm like, oh, set it aside.
That's funny. Well, guys, I think that's it.
I think it is.
As usual, find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube for the Blue Fiber Tree, our websites, longtailknits.com, alk&me.com.
All those are listed in the comments below.
Yep.
And please leave comments. We do go back and review them. And we will answer any of the questions that you have.
Like and share with your friends, please.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
Take care, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye. I'm so excited to see you guys. Ooh, lots of fun. But okay. Just so you know what we're doing, we're going to do some core spinning from Batts. For those of you that don't know what core spinning is, core spinning is where we actually use a fine center that we wrap fiber around. Like most people use, that I've seen, a very lace weight mohair, because as you can see, if I bring this in close to the camera, see how it has like the halo of fiber around it? That halo allows us to grab fiber that will then wrap around. It is a tiny tricky thing to learn. I will be very honest and tell you that when I first started core spinning, I took the class 4 times. The first 3 times I was frustrated, and the 4th time the instructor said, okay, you're not paying for this class, you're going to get it today, or I don't know what to do. And something that day clicked with me, and I have fallen down a rabbit hole that I love. Most of my spinning is some form of core spinning, be it coreless core or core spinning. I'm going to show you just real quick right here. This is a core spun yarn, so you can see this is a single. It has not been plied at all. Probably maybe a third of the core spinning I ply, but the rest I leave as fun singles because I do a ton of weaving. I do a ton of continuous strand weaving, and these look gorgeous in shawls and table runners and things like that. But this specific one, this was done with half Batt. I spun half from a Batt and the other half from top. So I had a smoother fiber, and then I had a fiber that was a little lighter, airier, and a little crazy. So you can see there's a little Angelina in here. And you can tell, like, this part of the strand, this was done straight from top. In other sections, if I can find it, it was done straight from a Batt, and they get a little fluffier and chunkier. Just because you're spinning from a Batt doesn't mean
you have to have thick and chunky core. It can still be thinner and easy to, I can knit with this, and I have. But some of the fun of core work is that, I don't know if I can get it off. Here we go. Is that you can do fun and chunky, which I've used this a lot in tapestry weaving. Specifically, I did something like this where I had like a waterfall-esque look going down the side, and this was my warp. Now, because it has the core in it, I still had my strength, but then I wove around it. So, you know, thick and chunky or finer is fine when you're doing core spinning. Today, like I said, we're going to work from a Batt, and this is our lovely Batt. There is, oh my gosh, Stellina and Sari Silk and Wool Neps, some Merino, some Firestar. There's a whole lot of fun in this Batt. And because of the way the Batt was done, I'm actually going to split it almost down the center. You see how I have the teal going into the fuchsia? I'm going to split that Batt down the center so that I can pull from either side of that Batt to add color where I choose. And that's part of the fun of spinning from a Batt, is that we get to pick and choose what we're adding to our Batts, what we're adding to our core spinning and not. I'm going to just take a little strip, and you can see I'm just taking it straight down. I'm kind of peeling it like a banana, and I get my little fluff. It's kind of the same as almost spinning from cloud. So I have my piece right here, and everything that I do art yarn wise, I start with a finer beginning. It allows me to kind of get going with my fiber. I am spinning in my Z direction, in my clockwise direction, when I am doing my core spinning. You may see me go off the screen because I'm going to sit back to spin, but I'll lean in if anybody has any questions. I am 100% here to answer questions, because this is one of those techniques that until you get it, it can be a little frustrating, but once you get it, oh my God, the whole world opens up. So I'm just going to take part of my Batt and I'm going to get going. The thing about core spinning is you need to have control of your wheel. You really need to be able to start and stop your wheel. This is not a process that fast feet need to be involved. This is the slow, methodical, you're watching that fiber wrap around the core. And you can see, like, I have my core right here, and I'm like getting control of it where I want to keep that core straight coming out of my orifice. I do have a larger orifice so that my core yarns can go through, but I want to keep that core yarn coming straight, that core thread coming straight out of the wheel. And as I spin, well, I didn't really loop that on there because I was talking, so hold please while I do this back again. Yeah, we'll just go first day jitters. I feel like I'm teaching for the very first time because it's live, and holy cow, let's not do that again. All right, so let's get this back to where we should be. I'm going to open my lead, and I'm going to loop my core thread, which is just a lace weight mohair. I'm going to put this right through my lead. So I've got it like that. Again, I have stripped down just a section of my Batt. And the very first part of this is going to be nice and thin. I have slow feet, very important. And I'm going to get control of this fiber so that it's not loosey-goosey. I want to keep this kind of taut so that my fiber will wrap around it and catch on the mohair that's coming out. So again, I am drafting, kind of, maybe you can see, I hope you can see. We're drafting just a little bits at a time. I am coming out very much at a 90-degree angle from my mohair. In Sarah Anderson's book, The Spinner's Book of Yarn Designs, she kind of does it off at like a 45-degree angle. And you can do that. For me, I don't prefer that because your fiber, instead of going directly around, it kind of almost like angles down. And when that fiber angles, sometimes you end up twisting your fiber with the mohair core, and it almost looks plied instead of allowing that fiber to wrap around. So you can see I just kind of started, and I'm doing just a little thin area. And that just kind of gets me started. Now, the wonderful thing about core is you could decide how thick or how thin you want it to be. And it's all about how much fiber you pull from your bat. I use my first finger and my thumb to pull out what I need. And I let that wrap. You can see I'm getting a thicker section there. Almost kind of looks like slub work. But you just come in. I am lifting a little bit because I want you guys to see what I'm doing. I took a larger section out. Now, if I want to come in and I want to do some real chunky funky with this, I will take a section like this. I'll let it go. I have slow feet. I'm going to twist my hand under so that I move backwards, back over what I have just put on my mohair. And then I'm going to twist it towards me again. And you can see I'm creating like my own thick slub work right there. See how that area is just a little bit thicker? And then, like I said, the fun part of the bat is I can choose to change colors. If I want to move from the pink and the blacks and all of this, I can move into my next color whenever I choose, as long as I pick it up because it fell off my lap. Let me get this. And the thing about slow feet, if you use really fast feet when you're doing this and you want to leave a single that has good balance, if you overspin this, you can see this. This does not have, like if I hang this upside down, I don't have twist in this. I have just enough twist that I keep a coherent skein of yarn. But what I don't have is an over twist that is going to keep this from being able to be used when you're weaving with it, when you're crocheting with it, when you're knitting with it, whatever your little heart chooses. I have fiber hanging everywhere in this room. Good Lord. But if you are spinning really fast and you're getting that fiber on that mohair in a very quick manner, you're going to end up over twisting this. And then your only choice is going to be to ply it to get some of that energy out so that you create a balanced yarn. It's very, very important if you're going to use this in something to create something that's balanced. And there are yarns out there that say, oh, we want to over twist and we want to over twist because then we're going to take all of this over twist and we're going to spin it in the other direction. And so there are ways and times for that. Core spinning is not one of them. So again, I'm just going to strip a section of my bat down, set it out of the way, and all I'm doing is switching colors. And the only thing I'm doing is I'm pulling my fiber back out. Obviously, I wrapped it around up here so that it would hold for me. I'm just going to take a little bit of fiber. The halo that's on my mohair will allow us to catch that fiber. And you can see I have my mohair coming down, wrapped around my pinky. Then it comes up over my thumb and comes from behind me. That allows me to maintain a really good grip on my fibers. Okay, so again, I'm going to start right here. I'm going to let that go on. And I'm using my first finger and my thumb to pull fiber out, but also holding down here so that I'm drafting. And I can draft very finely, or I can draft just a little bit at a time. Some people will inch it and just kind of draft along as they go. I find I tend to be I'm a long puller. I tend to pull a lot out so I can see what's getting ready to come around. I try to anticipate what it's going to look like and visualize as I'm going. And I'm like, oh, if I don't want that there, well, then I have the opportunity to move it. This first finger right here that is underneath my strand, I'm using that to smooth as we go, okay? So I'm going to pull down and I'm smoothing. Again, I'm going to pull a little thicker section so that I can get more semi-slub work. I'm going to turn back. If it got too thick, I'm just stopping. I'm pulling that out, and then I'm letting it go again. That's the fun part about core, is you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. Now, if I want to get crazy with the bat, and I'm like, ooh, this bat didn't have any locks in it, and I want to add some locks to it, I am 100% capable of adding those locks in as I go. And let's see. I can just take a little bit of, these are Teeswater locks. And I know some people are like, oh, shameful, but they're so silky and pretty. And I just kind of take these, I open them up just a little bit. I don't want to destroy the integrity of the lock when I'm putting it in there with the bats. But I'm just going to open it up. And again, I'm maintaining my core yarns coming straight out of my orifice, okay? And then I am going to continue going. And I'm going to kind of pull on those locks a little bit. And you can see, like, I just added a really cool textured section to my core. I'm going to pull this out of the wheel a little bit because I want you to be able to see it. I'm kind of going to backtrack so I can bring this in. So you can see right here, I added some really cool locks. So I have a little more texture here, and then it comes down into my smoother areas. I still have my slub work right along here. Okay, I'm going to just put this back on my wheel. I don't want to overspin it. And let's say I want to go back to my pink. It's real easy. I broke it off. I'm just going to spin that back onto my fiber. And it is like, core spinning can be slow going at first while you learn to get control of so many things at once. I think it's why some people like to do the coreless core, because they don't have to try to manage this extra piece of yarn that's in here. My apron is getting in the way and tugging on my core. Sorry about that. But it just comes in. And again, I'm using that first finger. I'm moving my feet very slow. I'm using that first finger to smooth as we go. And I am just going to keep creating from the bat. And again, if I want to create some thicker areas, I pull more fiber, okay? So instead of that little bit of fiber, I'm going to pull a little more fiber, and I'm going to let that come around, still smoothing with that first finger. But let's say I want to go make a larger slub. I'm just going to come back, twist it with my hand, and get going again. So you can see I have a much larger section there now. If I'm not using my thumb and my first finger to pull to draft at the same time that I'm pulling this, I'm at least, I kind of hold back with my right hand and I lift with my finger, with my first finger a little bit. Sometimes that thumb is involved and sometimes it's not. Again, I'm going to spin my fiber frontwards and backwards so that I can create a little larger area. I don't like where that's going. Hold on, there we go. And see, I had a piece of fiber that I just didn't like what it looked like, so I moved it out of my way. You get a lot of control. Now, a lot of times when people are core spinning, you know, one of the troubleshooting problem is, again, they're holding the mohair straight out of the orifice, and they're taking their fiber and they're doing that 35-degree angle, where if you get going, sometimes you get this, it ends up where the fiber rolls around, almost like you're coiling with a thin single around a mohair. And when you're core spinning, that's not what we're supposed to do. We really want that fiber to almost auto wrap as we go around. And you can see I got my wool neps that are popping that just make a lot of texture For those of you that weave or continuous strand weave, like this is a great weft on a rigid heddle. This is a great accent for a tri-loom project, or if you happen to be as lucky as I am and you have a square loom from Sprigs from Hill Creek Fibers. These are awesome if you're going to do a poncho. Like you can just put some accent pieces going straight down through the project. But again, the thing with like, I feel like sometimes spinning from the Batt's a little harder than spinning straight from roving or top. Because if you're looking for smooth, it's a little harder to get smooth work from a Batt. It can be done. Part of the reason I like spinning from the Batt is because you have the opportunity and more control for placement, where when you're spinning straight from a braid, you kind of have the color wherever the indie dyer decided to put it. And the only way to really change up the color pattern is to break that braid down into pieces, into pieces, into pieces. That's a lot of work. A Batt is so easy to take apart and move around. You know, I have that luxury of choosing what part of the Batt I like simply by, hold on, let me lock this on my wheel. Simply by taking my fiber and stripping it down, just like that. So I have my part of the Batt, and if I want it in a smaller section that's a little more controllable, I can pull my Batt apart and I can spin with a little bit, or I could have kept it together and spun with the whole section. Now, sometimes I will take my Batt and I like all my colors, but I want to add a little bit more pop and fun. I'll break it apart like cloud, still trying to kind of keep my fibers moving up and down. And I will grab some colorful locks that are maybe different than what I'm spinning. And I will come in and I will open these up a little bit just so that the fiber has the opportunity to catch wherever I want it to catch. And I'm just opening them up. Again, not destroying the integrity of the lock at all. I do a ton of lock spinning, and I get really freaked out when people start like taking combs to locks. I know it's a favorite thing of people. It's just not my favorite thing because, oh no, they were curly on the sheep. I want to see them curly wherever they go. So that's always a thing. But again, I will just take the locks and I will mix it in with that little bit of like fake cloud that I have created. And then I will just spin from that. So I just kind of made myself a little lock sandwich, I guess you could say. All right. So again, we're going to come back. I'm going to make sure that I have control of my mohair, which is my core, just in case you're just joining. So I have that mohair core. I have it kind of wrapped so that I can keep this taut coming out of the wheel. I don't want that mohair loosey-goosey. If that mohair is loosey-goosey, I'm not going to be able to get smooth core because I'm not going to be able to use my first finger down here to keep that core smooth. See, first finger, left hand under here, keeping it nice and smooth. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to start with a new color, and I'm just going to let that fiber catch on the fiber that's already on my core, keeping my wheel smooth. Well, slow, not necessarily smooth. Sorry about that. And I'm coming in here and I'm just going to let the locks live where the locks live. If they want to hang over and be loosey-goosey, I don't care. I'm creating a look and fun. I want it to be fun. And you can see right here, like there's some locks dangling. And I think that's so much fun when it's peeking out from a project like that. Some people are not fans of locks coming out like that. But I will tell you, the faster you move your feet with this, like, see how that kind of went around and I wasn't real crazy about how that looked? I'm going to put everything down for a second. And I'm just going to come in here and do a little rearranging. before I continue, because I want it to be fun and funky, but I want to have a little control, okay? So I hope if any of you tune in later, if you have questions, please, like, comment underneath the video or message me on alk&me. I am 100% happy to answer any questions you have about core spinning. It is my jam, 100%. My business partner, Sue, she does the most beautiful thick and thin you have ever seen in your life. When she spiral plies it, it's stunning. I do okay. This is my thing. Anything having to do with lock spinning, core spinning, that's where I find my fun. And you can see right here, I am just taking locks and coming straight around that core because I just want to break up the section. It's the beauty of core spinning. I have all the control. Nobody else gets it. I get it. I love core spinning. And you can see I keep my wheel going at like a steady pace. Okay. Now, if I want to, hold on, I'm going to get that out of my way. You can see like I'm coming up on a section of my fiber that's kind of, it's very heavy. All right. So I'm going to open my fiber up a little bit just so it gets airy. And I'm going to pull back on it like this. I'm still at a 90-degree angle, and I'm going to pull back, and I'm going to let it wrap around. Using that thumb and that first finger, I'm drafting it out so that I can continue down my fiber. Okay, if I want to create a thicker slub, if you didn't hear earlier, I'll show you again. I just come down, I turn my wrist so I can go back up my fiber, and turn back so I can come down. And by doing that, I create a larger slub-like section. You know, when you're doing that thick and thin, it almost gives the illusion of slub work. Now, for anybody that's going to be around, that's going to Allegan, to Michigan, we will have a booth there. And if you have any questions at all about core spinning, lock spinning, or spiral plying, your thick and thin, Sue and I are there to answer any of your questions. We are all about sharing knowledge. I'll tell you, one of the other things that I will do is sometimes I have in the past made a bat out of all natural fibers just because I like what it does to my fiber when I open it up. So then I spin it as core and I dye it afterwards. And it is so much fun to do. So much fun. It's one of those things that just makes my heart happy. Probably should have used a brighter color. I didn't think about that. Tried to get enough light in here. This is more light than what we'd have if we were in my studio right now. Plus also, if we were in my studio, I'd be sweating to death because that studio is like, I don't know, 87 degrees right now because it is a little muggy outside. Today, but, and see how easy that was just to switch color? I just literally drafted a little and I pulled back and I switched color. Using my first finger, I'm just smoothing as I go. Always, always smoothing as we go. Okay. And again, with the core, I can make this core as fine or as thin as I like. It really depends on your intended use, you know. Always think about your intended use. When I core spin for me, I just know that it's going to go in something woven. So for me, the chunkier, the funkier, the better. Some people like a finer core. And it's gorgeous when you do fine cores. What you can do with this after the fact, I will tell you. Let me show you. I'm going to pop this down real quick. We have just a couple minutes. So this right here. All right. Hopefully you can see this. All right. This core spun was just simply set. It was not full to the full effect of like hot, cold, hot, cold. This was just a simple, like, warm, cold set just because I wanted to keep the integrity of this. Now, this other, let me reach down and get it. Sorry about that. This got an almost felted quality to it because I fully did hot cold on this quite a few times. I almost felted it. It made a very strong core. Like, I'm not pulling this apart for anything. And it just gives different looks and feels. When you felt it, when you actually go through that full fulling process, it hardens it a little bit. This is thin enough where I still get drape. If it was thicker, you wouldn't get as much movement through it. We are at the end of 30 minutes. Holy cow, that went by really fast. Again, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. Remember, you can use anything for a core that you would like. I just always prefer the mohair. Some people use other yarns. Some people use cotton. I just prefer the mohair because it has some good grab to it. Again, any questions, you can post them below and I'll keep a watch and I'll try to answer them all. Hope everybody had a wonderful 4th of July. Thank you so much. We appreciate you in our community so very much. And we are all about helping you guys learn. All right. You have a great day.